I've got a cabin up in the hills, a little getaway spot I built on the edge of some woods. It's nothing extravagant, just a cozy log structure with a porch, fire pit, and enough room to host friends on the weekends. I deliberately built it outside of town so I wouldn't have to deal with HOAs or nosy neighbors. Or so I thought. Turns out, when the subdivision expanded uphill, the HOA began acting like my cabin was part of their little kingdom. I wasn't in their association, didn't pay dues, and they had no jurisdiction. But that didn't stop them from trying. For months, I got letters telling me to stain my cabin exterior to match community tones, remove the fire pit for safety reasons, and cease storing unapproved recreational vehicles on property. Translation: my ATV parked outside. I ignored every single one. Then, last fall, I decided to throw a weekend party for my friends. Just a group of about 20, a grill, some drinks, and a few guitars by the fire. Nothing crazy. We weren't blasting music at 2 a.m., just enjoying ourselves on my land. But sure enough, just as we were settling into some songs around the fire, up marched Karen, the HOA president herself. Clipboard in hand, arms crossed, expression sour enough to curdle milk. "This gathering is not authorized," she declared. "HOA rules strictly forbid disruptive parties." I laughed. "Lady, this isn't an HOA property. This is my cabin. You don't get to decide what I do here." "You're disturbing the neighborhood," she snapped back. "If this continues, I'll have no choice but to fine you and contact the authorities." "Good luck with that," I said, and went back to tuning my guitar. Well, the next morning, I had a note taped to my cabin door: "This unauthorized event is banned. Future violations will result in escalation." That was the moment I decided if they wanted a disturbance, I'd give them one they'd never forget. See, one of my buddies is a sound engineer who works with local bands. When I told him what happened, he laughed and said, "You know, one of the groups I manage is looking for a cheap rehearsal space for the month. Your cabin would be perfect." The light bulb went off. Within a week, I had leased my cabin for a modest fee to a 4-piece rock band that specialized in heavy metal covers. They hauled in their amps, drum kit, and recording gear. Every afternoon, like clockwork, the hills shook with wailing guitars, thundering drums, and vocals that could peel paint off walls. From my house in town, I could almost hear them. From the subdivision? They got the full concert experience. It didn't take long. 2 days in, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. When I picked up, it was Karen, practically shrieking, "What is going on at your cabin? It sounds like a demolition derby. We can't sleep. The noise is unbearable." I smiled. "Oh, that's just some tenants of mine. I leased the cabin for the month. Perfectly legal." "You can't do that," she howled. "That's a violation of HOA rules." "Not my HOA," I reminded her. Then I hung up. The next few weeks were pure bliss. The band practiced daily, sometimes hosting jam sessions with other musicians. Cars would roll up, unload equipment, and the sound of shredding guitars echoed down the valley. Karen tried everything: letters, calls, even showing up with a police officer one evening. The cop checked the lease, looked at the band, then told her flatly, "They're on private property, ma'am. Nothing illegal about it." By week 3, half the subdivision had lodged noise complaints against her. She was the one who had promised quiet rural living in their HOA newsletters, only to have a cabin next door pumping out live music. When the band finally wrapped up their lease, they left me with a few demo recordings and some hilarious stories about Karen pacing the property line, fingers in her ears. My friends and I still listen to the tracks and laugh. As for the HOA? Funny thing, they haven't sent me a single letter since. I think they finally realized that poking the bear only makes the music louder. And the best part? Every now and then, when I'm in the mood, I let that same band come back for a weekend jam. Just to keep the HOA on their toes. Because nothing says "mind your business" like a full drum solo echoing through the hills.